Peace and blessings, Galactical Federation. Yes. Come in, rest your swords, rest your shields. We're going to be having an extremely good dialogue today, but I'm not going to make it too long. Welcome, Galactical Federation. Welcome, Chosen Ones. I want to give a special thanks to my Matrix team. Excuse my anger issues and the little conflicts that I have been having. Forgive me. Give me your grace. And I want to say that I'm thankful and I'm appreciative of you guys. I'm appreciative to God. I'm appreciative to my friends, my family, and so on. I don't still know what's going on, but I do know that possession is real. You know what I'm saying? However, I'm very grateful. The thing is, I'm moving forward, and I'm thankful for moving forward. There's a portal that's open for me right now, even in retrograde, to make some things happen. So, my name is Nile, so it's like I'm kind of programmed to kind of go against the grain a little bit. So I'm still gonna go out and try to get a little job or whatever. I'm gonna use this time to be creative, of course. That I'm not currently working as much as I was. I'm going to use this time to be creative, work on my book, my scripts and so on for the future. And I want to say thank you guys. I'm not sure, some of it is a blessing. It's all a blessing in disguise, you know what I'm saying? So I want to say thank you guys. Thank you for being there for me. Thank you for being patient with me. Recently I had to cut somebody off that was taking my energy for granted. And, I don't mind sharing this experience really quick. It was somebody that I fed. It was somebody that I invited to my space. It was somebody, that I gave good advice to. It was somebody that I thought that I could work with, and we made a verbal agreement to work with each other and to be patient with each other. So there were numerous amount of times where I could have just pointed out what they were doing wrong or certain things like that. And I was bypassing the red flags, which you would consider red flags. And this red flag concept really exists. It's just about noticing people's behavior pattern, and if it's congruent to what you got going on. Are these people keeping their word? Because people could say one thing but they'll do another. It also makes me think, damn, do they just release people out of jail to do missions? You know what I'm saying? Do they just release them out of jail to come into the community and cause havoc? Or does the program sometimes, them being programmed inside of jail causes them to act adverse when they get out? So I just want to say that I had to cut this person off. And this person doesn't deserve to be in my energy. One thing happened on my end, which I apologized for and so on, but they didn't, what would I say, they just was acting really childish, acting really narcissistic and so on. So I had to, they actually tried to cut me off first, and it was just wow. I was really shocked by it, but everything's good. You wake up, it's a new day. If I see them, it's definitely smoke. I've let it go for sure, you know what I'm saying? But I still have to stand on and keep that same energy when it comes to this specific individual, because I think they think I'm a joke. And, nobody likes to be thought of as a joke, people trying to take advantage of you and laughing and thinking certain things are funny. So remember that actions speak louder than words, Chosen One, and communication is very important. You kind of want to always have your guard up with people that are withholding important or valuable information, because you don't know why they're withholding it. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to just keep your composure. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, don't let nobody play with you, Chosen One. Don't let nobody play with you. There's times where, and it's you know, I feel like when people play with me, they play with the team, and I don't like that. I don't like that. I do not like that. So it's like I gotta stay doing push-ups. I gotta stay prepared, because sometimes this stuff really catches me off guard, or it's like a subtle disrespect. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you gotta nip all that shit in the butt sometimes when it comes to interacting with people. That's why it's so essential for us to have a business. But I wanted to tell you guys on the knowledge side, right? I'm gonna read this to you guys. Another important teaching presented to Hetheru in the first two parables was that of faith. The teaching showed her how God exists in the very fabric of creation. In fact, all creation has proceeded from God, and every part of creation is permeated by God's presence. His fairness and compassion is evident in the principles of righteousness, fortune, destiny, and cause and effect, okay, which sustain creation. In order to receive this teaching, she needed to develop faith in her teacher. This enabled her to listen and reflect upon the teaching instead of rejecting the teachings and killing the teacher, right? The third parable has important implications for spiritual life. Hetheru has now turned away from the pit of negativity, the dull state of mind, but she is not free from the delusion of ignorance, which is rooted deep within her heart. She still remains in the form of a wildcat, even though she has had certain glimpses of the divine glory of her higher self. She is still partially entangled in the lower self as well. This is a predicament of many people, okay? They have some inkling of their higher spiritual essence, but they are caught up in the egoism which still remains in the form of ignorance, lower desires, and wrong thinking. It must be cleansed from their minds. This state is known as agitation of mind. It is characterized by impure thoughts and feelings based on ignorance of the higher spiritual reality, and on indulgence in egotistical feelings, selfishness, and individuality. When the mind is agitated, it cannot understand or feel clearly. The thoughts and feelings are tainted with illusion and desire, okay? This is why when strong emotions and feelings take control of the mind cannot reason objectively. Likewise, when people are deeply involved in worldly activities with an egotistic intent, they are actually moving away from self-discovery and intensifying the illusions, distractions, and worldly desires in their mind. It is like going to the beach and staying at the surface, being aware only of the waves and never going down below the surface to experience the peace and calm below. Conversely, when a person lives in accordance with the teaching and affirms the spiritual reality in all areas of life, working to promote harmony, peace, and truth in their life, they are moving closer to self-discovery. They may have an active life and still experience inner peace and the divine presence. This is the ideal. So basically, that's what we're going through today. I recently met it was like a female that was cool, that I felt like I could build with. However, some of our most, I would say, potent females, powerful females, they are definitely trapped in this illusion. And that's who we are trying to wake up, but they are definitely consumed, and they're living in an illusion. They might have glimpses of divine insight, divine spirituality systems, but this is exactly what our women going through today, which was written on the ancient tombs and pyramids. So it's exactly what is going on today. The prophecies are real, and we have to find a way to be creative and create these parables and these artistic ways of resurrecting our women and making them understand their power and our unity. But it's also these men out here too as well that definitely need to treat the women with dignity. It has to be an effort on both ends. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm here to try to just strive to bring the balance despite what I go through with our women almost every day. You know what I'm saying? Imagine coming back to earth and saying, man, these are all my wives. A lot of them are all my wives. You know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to be taking care of all of them, making sure that they're safe. And you're seeing them being pillaged by other people. And it's not necessarily like a good feeling all the time. So walking around with that burden and still having to alchemize and transmute that energy is not always an easy thing when you can actually visually see these things happening almost in the everyday process. What I'm going to do, fight half of the world? But anyway, guys, I really appreciate you. Stay focused, stay positive, and remember, man, when you're a chosen one, you have to guard your energy. You have to stay on point. Work out, pray, meditate, and all of that stuff. It's very essential. Okay, guys, meditation is important. I have a dating event coming up with Tribe. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get some of the chosen ones together. So any chosen ones that have been in the house and have been in isolation, you could come out to this event, and interact with other people, gain new friends, and so on. Stay in contact with me. Let me know what's going on. Peace and blessings to everybody, y'all. Stay up, stay blessed. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. And let's keep it pushing. Let's keep on going. Let's stay motivated. I have another video and a podcast dropping soon. Peace and blessings.